Well, it's once again Friday, 5:30 in the afternoon in the PM. And of course, this is your host for the next 25 minutes of the most interactive television show in North America. I don't know what goes on in South America, but in North America. And that is Chicago Access Cable Television Hotline 21. And that's because it gives you, the audience, the opportunity to participate. So for all practical purposes, it becomes your show. I am as excited as I can be, and I'm excited because of all the activity that has been going on in Chicago and the activity that I hear about when I hit town. I know that there's going to be a great festival out on 79th Street, kind of like the Taste of 79th Street. People have had all kind of book bag giveaways, all kind of things that have been going on. And so I just salute Chicago. I salute especially the African American community. I was with the National Chinese Organization this morning at 8 o'clock called Chinese United. And there were more than 400 delegates there from 38 states. Of course, Chicago had a big delegation of about 70 people. So I want to salute them, the Chinese Alliance, coming right out of Chinatown as a central place. But other places, I met people from Naperville, I met people from other towns and suburban communities. And so the Chinese, of course, Ivy Lam, who invited me to come and speak. There were at least a half a dozen members of Congress who graced the group and the organization. Both Louis Gutierrez and I were there at the same time, but there were other people who came. So I feel real good about that. We had a good week in Congress. I am excited because my sickle cell bill had a hearing, and I understand that in the next couple weeks it's going to be in markup. Markup is the process that we use when a bill is headed to the floor of the House. And it's going to be marked up in the Energy and Commerce Committee. Both Congressman Bobby Rush and Representative Jan Schakowsky are members of that committee, and I'm certain that they will be supporting the bill without even thinking about it. So it's headed eventually to the floor, and that excites me to no end. Tomorrow there are all kind of things going on, and of course a group of African American elected officials are going to be meeting at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning at the South Loop Hotel. I am excited about that because the last meeting there were 25 or 30 of us present. It was a great meeting, and I want to commend Commissioner Larry Rogers for hosting the meeting and for kind of calling the group together. And so it was just a good, solid meeting. Of course, the Chicago Classic football game is tomorrow. My hat's off to Tim and Everett Rand and Larry Huggins for putting this event together. It's the 19th year, and we're going to have two outstanding schools out at Soldiers Field. Clark College from Atlanta. I have spoken there one time. As a matter of fact, I spoke for the School of Social Work at their banquet one year. And of course, I have done some work with Central State and Wilberforce when they merged their two infirmaries together and created a community health center. I was their consultant, and so I helped to put that together. So I have a great affinity for both of those schools. And of course, I know a number of people who have graduated from both. My nephew graduated from Clark, and of course, Richard Boykin and Suzette Stanley and other folks came out of Central State. Let me get right down to an interesting piece of activity that we're going to be talking about tonight. I have a delightful young lady in the studio with me who don't let her attire fool you. She is a Chicago police officer, and she is also a minister, having completed seminary work and ready to do all kind of different things. So let me just ask you, and we got two callers, I think, already waiting, so they're kind of ready and fired up. But let me ask you if you would just introduce yourself to our audience, and I'm going to ask you a question or two, and then we're going to get to our callers.
Okay, well, first giving God the praise and honor for this moment, and you, Honorable Congressman Danny Davis, for allowing me to come on the show. Thank you for this moment. I'm Shalisa Jones. As the Congressman said, I'm also a minister and a Chicago police officer. I know my hat says FBI, but that stands for Faith Beyond Imagination. Faith Beyond Imagination. And you got to have a lot of it. So he has invited me on the show to explain the up-and-coming event for October 10th, 2016. God has called us to come together for a day of healing, a day of solidarity among government officials, among the police and the community, our teachers, everyone, our parents who have lost loved ones to senseless killing, even the gangbangers and whoever, unbelievers, to come together for a day of healing and forgiveness. All race coming together for one evening at Soldier Fields, October 10th, 2016. It's called Cry Out for Peace. Coming together to cry out for peace.
Let's look at the overhead that we've got. How about that? Doesn't that spell it out? Doesn't that say what it is? It says, cry out. And we are trying to get, and we want you to go ahead, if you've got a pen, put that date on your calendar, and what time is it going to take place, and tell us all of that.
At 3 p.m., from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., and that day is on Columbus Day, happens to be on Columbus Day. The number is 888-567-1148, 888-567-1148. We're asking for volunteers to come out and meet us at the church. I can't do it, and God didn't call me to do this by myself. So we need all the help we can get. I have, as a police officer, have donated, starting with myself, sowing a seed of $50,000 of my own money. I haven't birthed not one kid in this world, but every kid, your kid is my kid. And I'm concerned and I care about people. And I want us to all come together. I want this to be a free event, but because of the venue is so big, I'm asking people to make donations. You can go to WW Cryout 2016 to make a donation. That's WW Cryout 2016. We really want it to be a free event.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's go to our telephone. You've heard what we're talking about. Now we want to hear a little bit of what you're talking about, and maybe we can merge it all together.
Yes.
And make it one thing. I think this is a great idea. It's an idea that's going to require a whole bunch of involvement and participation to make it happen. But let me tell you, I've not heard that kind of faith expressed, and I'm a firm believer in faith because I was taught very early in life that if you would have the faith of a mustard seed and say to yonder's mountain, be moved, the mountain will get out of the way. But then I learned that if it didn't, get you some dynamite, some nitroglycerin, some TNT, and blow that sucker up. And before you know it, debris will be flying all over the place. And if you can't do that, get a chisel or a hammer and just hammer away at it. And eventually you will succeed. So let's go to the phone. Caller, are you there? Yes, caller, are you there?
Yes, hello. Good evening, sir.
Good, how are you?
Fine. And the young lady, I hope she's feeling fine also. But listen, you started the show by saying that you got up and you were fired up and you went to go with the Chinese and have breakfast or whatever it was. They're going to build some buildings, and not one African American or Hispanic construction company are going to work on the buildings that they're going to build.
Where is that going to be?
Maybe you didn't know that when you got up this morning, but that's how it is. So I hate to rain on your parade.
No. Where is the project?
When are we going to get our chance? I'm Hispanic. When are we going to get our chance? When are the African Americans going to get our chance to go and build downtown like everybody else? Thank you.
All right, well, we still need to protest. We need to march around places. We need to challenge people who are in charge. We need to challenge the decision makers. We need to do everything that you can do to try and make sure that there is equity, that there is parity, and that every person in our country has equal opportunity to demonstrate what they can do. And so I'm with you on understanding and doing everything that can be done to try and make it real and try and make it happen. So you won't get any argument from me in that kind of pursuit. So we'll try our next caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Do you guys suck each other's black dicks?
Oh, we got one of those today. Go ahead and let's ice that person. Yeah, we get every once in a while, we get these insane people who will kind of cut into some serious stuff. But that's all right. You know, ugly does not bother us at all. And so we're going to pray for that gentleman and hope that the good Lord will clean up his spirit a little bit, clean up his heart, and maybe if that happens, he won't kill himself. Because he sounds like he's kind of insane, frustrated, and all of that. And so our sympathy goes out to him. We got another call. If so, we'll take it. If not, then we will continue. This cry out for peace. Let me just ask you. You are a person who works with simply a regular job. $50,000 that you have invested in this project, in this effort, in this vision, that's a lot of money.
Yes.
I mean,
my whole salary just about.
It takes many of us a lifetime. The average African American doesn't have $50,000 in assets, according to the statistics that I read. And I make sure I read this stuff and all. And so you're willing to put up $50,000 of your hard-earned money to try and bring people together in a massive way to promote peace and unity in our city.
Yeah.
What makes you do that?
God, first of all, had given me the vision, and he said, before you go out and ask someone else to donate, start with yourself. You sow a seed. And so in order to get the date secured, you need $50,000. It's non-refundable. Non-refundable.
Well, I always say, and I say it a lot, that you can't lead where you don't go.
Yes.
And you can't teach what you don't know. And so you can't ask. The thing I always appreciated about my father, whom I consider to be one of the hardest working individuals I've ever known. But what I liked about him, he never asked us to do things that he was not doing. When he got ready to do something, he'd say, "Come on, boys, let's go and chop down a tree." He didn't say, "You boys go chop down a tree." He'd say, "Come on, let's go chop down a tree. Or let's go fix this fence. Or let's go do whatever." And so he never asked us to do things that he was not doing himself. So we didn't mind. And it didn't bother us.
He led by example.
Because he led by example, and that's what it seems to me that you are doing. Miss Crystal, could we go ahead with our next caller? Yeah, caller, are you there?
Good evening, Congressman Dennis.
Yes, how are you?
Good evening. Okay. Say, was just listening to C-SPAN earlier today, and I guess CAN TV earlier last weekend. They seem to both be having subjects about finances. One was this Illinois House Bill 106, the Financial Transaction Act, that would raise so much money off of all these financial transactions done over at the Board of Trade. Now, and the flip side was today they were talking about this House Bill 5424, I think it was, private investors, advisors bill. Now, can you tell me, for the House bill, the U.S. House bill, is that going to be a subject of conversation with the Congressional Black Caucus?
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, we've had that discussion in Congress, and what we had was some changes in the regulations that the U.S. Department of Labor came up with that redefines a little bit what financial advisors are defined as being. And so they have to kind of be in a position to prove pretty much that they are equipped and qualified to give financial advice to their clients. And that's a bit more restrictive than what the regs had been, but those were new regs that the U.S. Department of Labor came up with. So yes, those discussions are going on. I think we may have a little bit of technical difficulty, but I think we got an answer in, and I think we got your point. And yes, there have been individuals pushing for a transaction tax in terms of saying if you charge a transaction on a tax on transactions every time one takes place, that you could generate a tremendous amount of money, and of course that money could go into the Treasury to help finance whatever it is, schools, housing, health care, all of those things, infrastructure development, all of those things that need to be done. Thank you very much, and I know that State Representative Mary Flowers has been right on the money with many of the ideas coming from there. Caller, are you there?
How you doing, Attorney Davis?
James, I'm good. How are you?
Okay, now they were talking about this new lady. I don't know her name, but they said she put her name in for the president too, but I don't know who that is.
Well, you're probably talking about there are actually 4 candidates for president. There's the Democrat, there's the Republican, there's the Green Party, and there's the Libertarian Party. And so I think you're talking about the lady who is running as the Green Party candidate. Yeah.
But she said she could be both of them. I don't know, Attorney Davis. I don't know.
She might be good, but I don't think she'll beat either one of them. I don't think she will beat anybody that's running.
Everything crumbled down on Donald Trump, Attorney Davis. Everything crumbled down.
Well, I hope that you are right. And, do you play bid whist?
Huh?
Huh?
It is time for the president. If it's the president lady, and then my head go out to Hillary.
All right.
I ain't gonna say nothing about it. I'm just going to wait November.
Let me ask you, do you play bid whist?
Who?
Bid whist. A card game called bid whist.
Sometimes, but not all the time.
All right. Do you bid no Trump?
I think God got the last word.
All right. Well, right on, James. Thank you so much. All right. Let's get back now to October the 10th. You are trying to bring a large number of people to Soldier Field.
Yes.
And the purpose is to cry out for peace,
Yes.
to cry out for unity, to cry out to stop the killing,
Yes.
to cry out for love,
Yes.
to cry out for respect.
Yes.
And you're asking people to join you.
Yes.
And if anybody is willing to become a part of your committee or part of your effort, they can call what number?
888-567-1148. 888-567-1148. And especially the ones who's already been doing prayer visuals. You got people doing prayer visuals on the corner already in the community. Come, join this. They just did Chicago Prayer or Chicago Praise at Moody. Join this. Let's all come together and be one for this event of a day of healing and solidarity.
All right. Now, if some people like to write, and if individuals wanted to send a donation to help with the cause, where could they send it to?
2248 South Keeler, Chicago, Illinois, 60623. 2248 South Keeler, Keeler, Chicago, Illinois, 60623. I'm originally from the West Side.
I lived in that
all
community
my life on the West
for
Side.
10 years. I lived at 4341 West 21st Street for 10 solid years.
Okay.
I lived at 1529 South Kaminsky
Yes.
before I moved to the address I just gave.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I worked on the corner at Central Park and Ogden for 6 years. So I know that community extremely well.
Yes.
So we are putting out a call. Anybody that is willing to help generate this great event that we're working on, please call 888-567-1148, and you will be a part, and you will be known as the people who helped rebuild the walls,
Yes.
building on the old foundations. Our time is up. We thank you so very much. We thank our callers. And I guess what? Be good to yourself and even better to somebody else. See you next week.